Thank you so much, Steph. Police forces across the province have a better idea on how they're going to be enforcing the province's new stay-at-home rules, and it will not involve random checks.
To specifically pull somebody over and say, hey, are you complying with the emergency order? We have no authority to do that, and that won't be happening. Same for walking down the sidewalk. If you're out in public, the officers do not have the authority to come up to you and say, hey, where are you going? What are you doing?
Police will help ensure businesses and restaurants are following the rules, and officers can also break up outdoor gatherings of 5 or more. The guidelines do not allow police to randomly enter homes to see how many are inside. In a statement, Toronto Police said only when they have reasonable and probable grounds to think you may be breaking the rules, you must provide ID. If you don't, you may be arrested for obstructing a police officer. Now, experts say some in marginalized communities will be leery of this order.
We keep pulling from the policing toolbox, and I appreciate that may be necessary in some cases, but we're not addressing paid sick leave. We're not addressing decent wages. And we simply cannot police our way out of this pandemic.
Now, yesterday, some police forces were swamped with calls. And again, here's your reminder. Please do not call 911 for information or to report potential rule breakers. The number to call is 311. So coming up here at 7:30, we will be hearing from the executive director for the Ontario Association of Police, Chiefs of Police, who you just heard from there, about new guidelines. So we'll expand on what it all means and the apparent lack of direction from the province when the orders were first announced. So hopefully, again, some more clarification. Now, Ontario's top doctor says the province issued stay-at-home orders to stop the new highly contagious UK variant in its tracks.
We know with that variant, it takes even less contact time. So a face-to-face chat with someone with no mask on, standing 2 feet away from them and laughing and talking for about 4 or 5 minutes, you've transmitted it.
Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Williams, says we must be extra vigilant. Of the 8 new variant cases reported earlier this week, 5 linked to recent travel in the UK. A total of 14 cases of the variant have been reported in Ontario. Well, the City of Toronto is expecting a $1.6 billion deficit in 2021 because of the significant financial impact of this pandemic. This budget process just getting underway, but by law, the city cannot run a deficit. Now, Toronto is banking on money which will be coming from the province and the feds to help balance the books. The city's already received $740 million, but they are expecting another $856 million. Mayor John Tory says without the additional funding from the other levels of government, there will be a significant impact on our services.
There is no Safe Restart funding support from the other governments. We will have no choice but to cut back up to $860 million of capital spending. And that will affect jobs, it would affect economic activity, and it would affect just keeping Toronto in good repair.
A property tax increase in the budget is expected to add $69 in property taxes to the average homeowner this year. The budget is expected to be finalized and approved by City Council on February the 18th. Well, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau appears to be ruling out a national vaccination passport as provinces move to harsher restrictions to fight rising COVID cases. While the provinces are talking about a system to prove you have had the vaccine, Trudeau says he's not considering one for Canada. Our Prime Minister says with most Canadians looking to get vaccinated, it will get us to a good place without having to take more extreme measures that could have some real divisive impacts on our communities and country. Trudeau will be updating Canada's COVID situation at 11:30 this morning. So as always, if you'd like to tune in, we will stream that on our website, citynews.ca. Well, the province's Special Investigations Unit called in after a man shot by a Toronto police officer in the city's East End. The 31-year-old in serious but non-life-threatening condition. Police are now looking for witnesses.
As more information becomes available, SIU will be sharing that information. But right now, our purpose here is to maintain crime scene integrity, to look for witnesses, anybody that has any information.
Well, the SIU statement says police were trying to block a vehicle of interest around 8 o'clock last night at a parking lot at Midland and Eglinton when it rammed their cruiser. During the interaction with a suspect, the 31-year-old man was shot. 2 police officers were also taken to hospital with injuries. There are also reports that 2 men are in custody. The SIU investigates whenever a person is seriously injured or dies during a police interaction. 25-year-old Mohammed Jailani of Minnesota has now been identified as the victim of a stabbing that happened near Eglinton in Midland late Wednesday afternoon. Jailani was found with serious stab wounds inside an apartment and was pronounced dead in hospital. Investigators believe this was a targeted attack. It happened in the same area as the police shooting. It's not known if there is a relation to these incidents at all. This is the city's first homicide of 2021. Well, a planned rehearsal for the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris planned for Sunday. It has now been scrapped over security concerns. According to Politico, saying that the dry run has been moved to Monday. The FBI had said earlier in the day that they were looking into tips reportedly threatening safety at the event. As many as 21,000 National Guard troops are expected to converge on D.C. ahead of Wednesday's swearing in. The event has already been scaled way back because of COVID and will move online. Now, as his time in office winds down, President Trump is taking some final shots at China. His administration put another 9 Chinese companies on a U.S. blacklist for alleged ties to the Chinese military. Among the companies now on that list are a major oil company, a jet maker, a smartphone company. China moved earlier in the week to pass laws protecting its financial interests. The incoming Biden team has not said if it will reverse Trump's moves. Well, as researchers try to better understand COVID-19 this month, you may be one of thousands of Canadians getting an interesting package from Statistics Canada. Coming up here at 8 o'clock, a look at the blood kits that are being mailed at random as part of an antibody study. We're going to talk to City News reporter Erica Natividad how this is all going to work and what those in the study should know about. And coming up next in business, incoming President Joe Biden with a $1.9 trillion plan to boost the economy. So what is in that? Mike Eppel with more.